Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Arfon from Grow Scale. In today's video, I'm going to talk about money traps. So what are money traps? It's just these random suggestions that look very good. They can sometimes seem like they make logical sense, but what ends up happening is that when implementing some of these, you're going to see some negative results on campaigns. So I want to go through a few different examples and just show you what to look for. So hopefully when you're creating your ads, you're setting it up, or if you're having someone on your team set up ads, you can avoid some of these pitfalls. All right. So let's dive right into the ads manager real quick. And I want to start off with just creating a campaign. And I'm going to focus on the two that's most recommended, which is sales and leads. And you're going to see a lot of commonalities here. So let's start off and we'll walk through it. And when I'll show you what I mean by money traps. Okay. So let's continue here. The first thing is this is one right here where it shows you just information. So you no longer need to choose a campaign setup. You're starting with Advantage Plus lead campaign with a campaign score of 100 and Advantage Plus on. So you're set up for reach your performance potential. Now this right here sounds great. Like, hey, they're automatically going to set it up for you. Now, the problem with that is that they're putting on all these Advantage Plus, so it's all the AI features, which may not be great for you, especially when you have a coaching business. It's just often does not perform the way we want to. So, you could, those shows again are okay. You have no choice. It's already applied, okay? So this is where now you have to go through and then you have to really start making decisions on your ad account that's going to help you to get better performance, okay? So you can see here at Advantage Plus leads are on, and this is for budget, audience, and placements. And some of these are great, especially if you're an established business, you can use the Advantage Plus for budget. For audiences, you can too as well. And for placements, you absolutely can. Now, here's the thing. There are some additional things that they don't tell you about, and this is where the problem really comes in, okay? So let's dive in first. Let's go through this, comb through all of them, and we'll talk about it quite a few. All right, so let's start off first with Advantage Plus. Now, this is actually a really great feature if and when you get to the point where you've already done a lot of testing. What I say by that is that what this does, the Facebook would automatically distribute your budget to the best opportunities across your campaigns. Now, what are the best opportunities? Okay, that's the thing. So the way the system works is that they use the lowest bidding option, the lowest cost, right? So one of the options is that they're gonna work on getting you right here. So highest volume. Let's click on information. You can see, so you can do highest volume. There's other bid caps and cost per result goal. So essentially what this is to get the highest volume is the lowest cost. Whatever the lowest cost is, they're going to bid. So if you have a broad audience, with broad audiences where we just select the gender, the age range, and the location, and we don't put any interest, that audience size has the maximum potential because they can get the cheapest traffic from that. But that may not be the best campaign for you. You may need to actually do some interest-based testing. So I often recommend first to start off with not using a campaign budget, but using an ad set budget. And what ad set budget is that? So every ad set you create, so every targeting you create, you can apply your budget to just that targeting. And you can see here it is another checkbox, right? So share some of your budget with other ad set. We'll share 20% of your ads set budget with other ad sets within the campaign when it's likely to improve performance. Same thing here as well. Now, when you already have an established campaign running, an established ad account, let's say you've been running ads for 3 to 6 months consistently, campaign budget and these options are great because what they'll do is that they have enough data to move around your budget to know who's going to convert and which audience is going to convert, etc. However, at the beginning, if you're just getting started or if you haven't been running ads consistently for a while, you may want to do asset budget first, just purely like turning this off and turn off budget sharing. So you can have better control so you can start seeing which messaging is actually resonating for you. Because Facebook is going to distribute the copy, the graphics, the videos as they please and choose. And that's not going to give you back the data you need in order to make the best results of your ad account. Okay, so that's one thing first. Everything else here is totally fine, totally cool. There's nothing else in the campaign section that you have to think about when it comes to leads. So let's go next to the actual ad sets. And there's a few things here that you want to look out for too as well. So right off the bat, conversion location. This is something that's not AI focused. However, they kind of hide it a little bit. So where you have multiple conversions, so as website, Insta forms, website and calls, as far as a messenger. And what this does, it helps you get better results, right? Because if you can generate a lead on a website and a lead through a form, well, they can be able to get you lower costing results. However, we got to think of the user experience we're trying to create. It's a different user experience sending someone to our website versus sending someone to instant form. And this can become a money trap because, again, while you're trying to get the lowest and cheapest cost per lead, you don't really create the best user experience. So what happens is the conversions can go down, and what happens, you get negative results. Okay, so poor results. We're not getting as much conversions. We're not making as much sales. Hence, therefore, ads don't work, right? Because we're not really getting a return back on our investment. So the website and calls is a form of messenger. Now, these are great for certain business. Website and calls, especially for a local business, works amazing because it's dual layered. We want to get the phone ringing anyways. So this is a great one here. So what you do is you want to go to single and essentially work with some of these right here. And again, think of the location. So if we're sending someone to a landing page where they get to a thank you page and they go through a sequence of low ticket offers, website, instant form, we just want to get a name and email address, give a free PDF, a free guide. It's really not a whole, it's just really pure lead generation, instant forms. This also gives you a lot of options to really qualify your leads through the form itself. So it's a great option, especially if you're trying to collect more information from that lead so you can get better, more robust marketing, okay? So let's choose website, for example. That's been the most common. Of course, you want to choose your pick, so I'm just going to choose mine. And conversion event, these are all pretty standard, essentially. So there's nothing here that's a money trap. It's just really you have to make sure your tracking is set up accordingly, okay? So as we come down here now, a couple of things that you want to look for is going to be the audience, okay? So again, Advantage Plus is turned on, and this is something that could also be a really, really strong money trap. In addition to all these stats and things over here, well, they're giving you a campaign score of 100. So what they're saying right now is that, hey, we don't have no targeting selected. We don't have any ads created or anything. We didn't put any video, image, or copy. And they're saying my campaign is using the recommended setup. We're 100%. Now, tell me, is that true? Right now, without having any image, any copy, any headline, any website link, nothing, why would it be 100? Okay, so this is where some of these things where it's like we got to start questioning. Okay, well, you're just basing it off of just the setup itself and not really going off of the actual context. This is where we have to apply the context and see, like, okay, does this actually make sense for my brand, for my company, for my coaching business? Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up to lose quite a bit of money. Okay, so this right here, as is what we call broad targeting. So as you can see, the audience is just location is selected. You can see more controls, minimum age, language, all languages, and suggested audience. You're just going to suggest audience. We'll reach people beyond these settings when it's likely to improve performance. So essentially, they're just going to show it to who they think is going to convert the best. Okay. Now, what we recommend is that this is great. You do want to create some sort of broad audience to test. And this works better and better the more saturated your ad account is with data. So the more you advertise, the more leads you generate, the more forms you fill, the more forms you get collected, applications you get collected, calls you get booked, purchases that happen through your website that's being recorded through the pixel, the better this broad audience is going to work. However, in order to avoid that money trap, what we need to do is further limit the reach of your ads. Now, this sounds like, why would I want to further limit the reach of my ads? It sounds like something you don't want to do. However, it's going to give you a lot better results. So we're going to click on that. And then again, right here, this is another money trap that they give. So potential outcome in the current setup. Up to 9.7 lower cost per results based on our experiment. Well, I want to see what that is. Okay. So let's see what they say and see if it applies to us. Okay. So the result the result is based on meta-analysis run between January 1st to August 1st, 2024. And it looked at 150 A/B studies that included advertisers across industries and regions using mid-funnel performance goals. The analysis showed that campaigns that had Advantage Plus on for audience saw, where did it go? Go back. Saw 9.7 lower median cost results compared to those that did. This is provided to give you an idea of possible performance, but performance isn't guaranteed. So across multiple industries and regions, now that's an important one. What regions are we going to be advertising to? What industry do we have? In the coaching industry, a lot of audiences on Facebook is catered towards e-commerce, whereas coaching makes up a much, much smaller percentage of the advertising audience. So this is something very important to really be aware of as far as like what studies was done to give this potential outcome. So that's why I recommend testing it, okay? Because ultimately you're only going to know which is going to give you the best results by testing it. And in my experience, we've seen that with more mature accounts, broad audience works really great. With less mature accounts, you want to be able to split it up and split testing it, okay? So let's switch setup. And now this gives you more control. It allows you to be able to choose an actual age range, to be able to actually choose a gender. Now with the other option, Advantage Plus, what happens with the broad audience, what happens is that even if you were to choose a gender, women or so, they still show it to men. If you chose men, they'll still show it to women. So you're having advertising spend, about 15-20% of budget, going outside of the target demographic. And that doesn't make sense, especially if you have a coaching program that is specifically for men or women, or, you're choosing a specific gender, which is going to be relevant to your program. Okay? So these are the reasons why you may need to actually select this, is just because if your coaching program has a limitation, okay? Custom audiences, I'll just leave these alone. But this right here now is when you put the detailed audience, they'll actually show to those detailed audience, and it's going to allow you to have better control over your targeting and be able to see if there's any specific audience buckets that's converting better. In addition to that, one of the things I like about this is you also get to see how your message is resonating with different audiences. Which copy, which graphic, which video is actually getting the conversions. And it starts letting you know, well, okay, I need to create more like this or not like that. Or my hooks need to be stronger, more to the point. My call to action needs to tweak and improve. And we want this data because, again, when we're moving into now broad advertising and we already know, hey, my audience responds to X headlines, X type of copy, X type of call to action, and we put it abroad, they can show it to whoever they want to show it to now because we already have that baseline established. So that's another money trap, I call it, to watch out for. Now, placements is totally cool. I don't recommend actually adjusting placements. You really don't need to. The only time you really will need to is if you're only creating ads that are very limited, unless you're creating ads that only make sense for stories and reels, like they're vertical videos. They don't have a place on the news feed, and if they are automatically cropped into that square format, they look bad. That's when you'll want to do placements, manual placements. Other than that, Advantage Plus on placements is perfectly fine. Okay, now let's move on to the actual ads itself. So again, here as you'll see different. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Show why we're doing that. Okay, so this is where you'll see a few different type of money traps, but a common one is really essentially the different changes that the AI does. So as you set up your account, this could look very different across accounts. So let's see I've audited a lot of accounts, and it looks a little different in the UK. It looks a little different in Australia. It looks a little different on laptop. It looks a little different on desktop across the board. And you may have some different options on yours. Facebook at all given times, they're running up to like 6, 7 to 10 different type of tweaks to the user interface that they're always testing to see what's giving better performance, making it user friendly, etc. A couple of things to watch out for when you're setting this up. Sometimes where it says browser add-ons, these are selected to where instant form may be selected. So although you're trying to send someone to a website, they have an instant form. So no one ever goes to the website. Most people are clicking on an instant form and they're collecting information. We're saying, hey, it's reporting leads, but I'm not getting any leads. Very common. I see this very often. It's a big money trap. So mine has been off, and I typically have mine on none. But a lot of times I'll create a new campaign and it's already on instant form. Okay, so that's something there. I'm just gonna give a website so that way it has it there. Perfect. So my website on there. Now this is the other one to watch out for when you set up creative. And let's say we're gonna do an image. I'm just gonna choose a random image. So a couple of things here for branding, these extensions. You want to make sure that some of these are off. You can see our site link is on, and in our experiment, campaigns with site links saw 4.5% lower cost results on Facebook feed. Well, that's great. However, if I'm advertising a specific funnel or a specific VSL, for instance, I don't need them to put apply now or join today or secure a spot. This is going to be distracting from the actual outcome that I want. So we want to make sure that we turn this off. Some accounts will have a button here. You can just click to turn off. Others, you actually have to click edit and then just actually select these ones right here and just, again, turn it off. You can say apply, you can set an off button there too as well. So just look at your user interface, see what makes sense for yours. It's going to look a little different here and there. But that's another money trap to watch for, because I've seen this inflate click numbers and it looks like the ad is not converting really good. However, it's because these site links are on. And we've experimented with site links and they have their purpose in some cases. However, most of the coaching for a launch or a freebie funnel, etc., it doesn't have a place to actually increase conversions and make results better. And I'm talking about results like back-end results, not just looking at the ads manager and it looks like click-through rate is fine. It looks like my results fine, but then on the back end is a total mess. So I'm speaking on back end experience here, okay? So next is the media. So let's go ahead and just choose a random image. Next. Make sure all this here. One thing to watch for, certain accounts below right here, they may have a little checkbox. What they'll do is they'll add an AI feature. So if your account has that, you know, if that makes sense, it makes sense. Most of the time it doesn't, because what they're doing is they're turning it into like a video or something, or they're going to crop it a certain way, or you're telling them, hey, have free reign to crop it, and we don't want that. Horizontal, always keep that original. This only typically shows up on the desktop newsfeed, so it's not something to really worry about much. Let's click next. Text. One thing to watch for here is when you have ad copy. So this is my example ad copy. They're going to put this right here. And a lot of accounts I've seen, these ones are automatically applied. And sometimes it doesn't actually make sense, or it doesn't look good, or it's very generic. Same thing with the headline too as well. For free. Yay. They're also going to give some of these. And some accounts is automatically turned on to apply. If you're not paying attention, it's going to give you all this. And what's the big problem with this, okay? Again, in the early phases when you're trying to test messaging, you want to be able to know, hey, which of my messaging is my audience response to? When you have this turned on, Facebook is going to essentially create 3, 4, and then plus the headlines, another 8 different ads, 8 to 10 different ads altogether. And we end up not knowing like which of they don't actually give us the actual data on which of these copies convert like that. So what ends up happening is now you actually don't even know which messaging is converting. And because you don't know which is converting, it doesn't give you any way to continually optimize your future conversions. And that's a really important thing to have in your business, because the success of your future ad campaigns depends on being able to have really strong debrief, to be able to see what's working, what's not working, get an idea why it's not working, and where exactly you need to tweak in order to start seeing more improvements across your ad account, okay? So let's look at the next one, is image generation. Again, this is okay, especially if you're not a really great graphic designer and you want to have some different images. Totally cool. However, again, they're really putting all the images together in one, so you're not actually even getting to see how the images would do when they're separated. So I would recommend actually, you know, if you see a style here you like, pop it in Canva, try to change it around a little bit, and then actually run it as a separate ad, so you can be able to see what the audience is telling you regarding the results of that actual ad, or that tweak in the graphic, the tweak in the background, okay? So for this one here, we just do skip and continue. They won't actually use that. And next one is enhancement. Enhancement is another major, just a real big money trap. And it's very sneaky, because often when we're setting up and we're not privy to what's shown, it just shows these right here. And it's very quick to just hit done and go next. But if you come down here, there's quite a bit. They have the overlay. And overlay, in my experience, has not helped to improve any kind of results in any great way. When it first came out, it was okay. And what was happening, it was giving us a really low CPM cost because it was pushing the ads out so much. However, it's an option that's debatable, because what they do is they add an overlay of the headlines. So the headlines down here, the headlines up here, and I think it could be a little bit done a little better. But it's a neutral enhancement, meaning that I have not seen it like negatively impact ads. I have also not seen it positive impact ads. So it's just some enhancements, and I personally don't like how it looks, how they stretch it up into different branding, font, etc. they use on their own. So I recommend turning that off. Visual touch-up, same thing too as well. I recommend you actually edit your ads and get your ads looking good before actually using visual touch-up. It's not really needed to do that because you don't. I mean, it's really not needed. Music too as well. I would definitely recommend to turn this off. If you listen to play the music that they have right here, you may find that it's really not towards the brand, or it conveys a whole different tone compared to what you're trying to do or say or trying to promote. So it's really not the greatest option to use. If you are going to do some sort of video, actually choose your music. You know, pop it in Canva, add the music to the image, and you can actually add a little design flair, etc. to it, so that way maybe the text are moving or so, and actually make a video and use some sort of music that actually makes sense for what you're offering. Okay. Text improvements, also same thing right here. So it's adding feature headline using phrases from text option. This is very, very big money trap for coaching business. It totally changes the messaging behind the ad. And for coaches, it's really not a good option. For e-commerce, it works really fine because it's short, simple text. But when it comes to actual coaching business, when you're trying to convey a message, I recommend turning that off. I've seen it before with this option on. What they did was that the ad copy was the headline. This overlay was the headline. So there's 3 instances of the exact same headline on there, and it's just a really sucky ad at the end of the day. Ad animation, if it makes sense. If not, turn it off, because what they do is they create another ad as well. And again, you want to be able to really have that data as far as like what is actually converting. And a lot of these AI features have not been great for the coaching business. This next one right here, this is the enhanced call to action. Again, this is something that is fine. I have not seen it to where it like drastically improves results, nor has it negatively improved results. Typically leave it on by default, because what it does, it just at the end of the ad, it just enhances the call to action. So I think it's a good feature. Again, it's not a money trap, but I have not seen it also improve performance that much. Okay, so these are the things to watch for. A couple others as well and I haven't really seen this on the example here, is going to be there's some pop-ups that come up and it'll tell you to apply certain recommendations. So here's one. You can get an 11% higher click-through rate by adding AI-generated images. So give your ads more creative variety by using our product or lifestyle images to create AI-generated ones. So again, it's fine to do. However, like I said, when it comes to actually testing the ad, knowing what's working, what's not working, it doesn't really give you the insights. It's really just about, hey, we just want to lower or improve the click-through rate, or get better performance on the actual ads manager. But we're talking about having better performance in the actual funnel, getting the right leads to come in and being able to know what messaging is responding to them and how we can actually convert our audience better. Okay, so this has been helpful to you. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget to like the video, share it with someone, subscribe to as well. And also, if you're looking to get better improvements with your ad, if you're looking to have better launches, get a better return on your ad spend for your evergreen funnels, let's schedule a call. I offer a free complimentary 30-minute scalable ads call. And on this call, what we do is we work together to look at what you have, create a crystal clear blueprint for an ad strategy to help you get results, help you see tangible results on the back end. So it's totally free. Go to rfunnelhussein.com/start. It's a short questionnaire so I can get some more information about what you're looking to advertise. I'll be able to have a call, I'll be able to share some strategies with you so we can see how we could potentially work together to help you get better results for your ads, or help to even just help you get results with your ads period. So go ahead, rfunnelhussein.com/start and schedule a call with me. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next video. Have a great one. Bye.